The Confederate flag ban is still raging across the South, and NASCAR fans flocked to Daytona over the weekend with their Confederate flags in defiance of the ban at the NASCAR races. And today, the South Carolina State Senate voted to remove the flag on the State House grounds. And here to discuss all the way from my former sweet home, Alabama, Birmingham, talk radio show host Michael Hart. Michael, good to have you, my friend.
It's great to be with you, Gina. How are you?
Now I got to look at you. Oh, you look good, Michael. You doing well?
I think I'm a little whiter than you might remember.
No, I remember you white. You were always white. I don't know if we're talking about your skin or your hair or your shirt, but
the hair.
Okay. Well, and
I wear it well.
Fondest memories of this man, my good friend Michael Hart, and I think we probably ate some fried chicken together at some point, surely.
I think we ate just about everything once or twice.
Deep fried pretty much anything, pretty much in Alabama.
Absolutely.
I miss you guys. All right, Michael, what have your listeners had to say about this issue?
Well, Gina, I mean, you can pretty much imagine where they come down. Of course, the flag was just recently taken down off the Montgomery State House.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you already. Like nothing is
so many people.
Like nothing has changed here, Michael. I'm already interrupting you, but I got to get from you because I should have asked that before, because the governor ordered it taken down, right, without a vote of elected officials.
In the state of Alabama, the Constitution provides for any flag, any monument, anything that's on state property, for the government to have the authority to take it down at will. And I'm sure that you've probably also covered, if you have perhaps, his comments about raising taxes in the state of Alabama for the General Education Fund. He literally said, Gina, I'm going to take this flag down so that it's not a distraction. I've got taxes to raise.
Holy cow. Oh, Bentley. Jeez,
well, I mean, you've got to at least appreciate the honesty, right?
All right. So go ahead then. I want to get your take on what are your listeners saying? I mean, do you have any callers these days, Michael, that are thinking that this is a good thing to do, to remove these flags?
It depends on what part of the conversation you're asking. Me personally, I don't even have a problem with it coming down off of a State House building. My issue then becomes how the NASCARs of the world and how Coca-Cola and Apple, et cetera, have responded to it. Walmart's position on it is completely ridiculous. You know, you can't even get into the hate or heritage debate over the whole thing. At the end of the day, particularly in Alabama, you got to bear in mind that over the State House of Alabama, there's still the plaque where the president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis, took the oath of office of the Confederacy. And in the state of California, I think that was a little quick to jump in the case of, Governor Haley. I believe that the House vote is going to find it a little bit more difficult challenge. But obviously, the Civil War in a lot of people's minds is still being fought here in the Deep South. The larger issue also becomes going beyond the Confederate flag as to whether or not there will now be monuments taken down to Confederate generals in parks all across central Alabama and the Deep South, for that matter. Yeah,
and you meant Georgia. You said California, but I don't think we have any Confederate anything here in California.
Did I say California?
Yeah, but that's okay. You were just thinking about where we are, and that's okay. I'm glad you're giving us a little Cali love. God knows we need it. Are people flying more Confederate flags than ever in the South now? Because I remember when I was there, and you know, you'd see Confederate flags now and then. I don't know that I really took such note of them, but are you seeing more now?
Yes, you are, primarily off the backs of trucks. There's a lot of protest votes going on in the region. You see a lot of them down in Montgomery. There was a Confederate rally down there about, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. There was probably close to 500 or 600 Sons of the Confederacy. You got to remember the Sons of the Confederacy actually own property just north of the capital of Montgomery, and they have a massive flag that flies above Interstate 65. There's been a lot of chatter as whether or not they're going to force them to try to take that down. So there's been a lot of opposition, but I'm not sure if it's in support of the Confederate flag or perhaps even the possibility or opposition of Bentley stepping out, because in asking the flags to be taken down, he's kind of exemplifying almost a little bit of Obama-esque executive order hubris. And I think that's really rankled a lot of people, even beyond the flag issue.
All right, people are taking their Confederate flags where they aren't supposed to take them, just to be rebels like they are, like NASCAR races, for example. Are any of these bans being enforced? Because I know a big part of our audience there, when I worked there with you, was definitely NASCAR fans.
NASCAR is not going to dare do that in a place like, well, for example, Alabama International Motor Speedway, which is Talladega. Daytona is a little bit different of a venue for them because being in Florida, it's got a little bit of a different aspect in terms of its southern heritage. Florida was not a part of the Confederacy, at least not in terms of declared, in that part of the state anyway. Alabama very much is. You've got breastworks and ironworks in Talladega, Alabama, within sight, and I'm talking about Confederate breastworks, in sight of the track itself. So Talladega could be a little bit different, but I will tell you this, when it comes to standing in opposition of the Confederate flag, NASCAR fans is the last demographic you want to stand in defiance of.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, the debate today turned to other issues. On the state Senate floor during the debate today, a state senator said they were being distracted from the real issues, and he got up and he said this. Here's the video.
Senator from Spartanburg, 3 minutes, please.
Mr. President, members of the Senate, can I get a little order? This is...
Yes, sir. Little order, please.
Members of the Senate, I heard our president sing a religious hymn, and then Friday night, I watched the White House be lit up in the abomination colors. It's time. We've got Amazing Grace. We've got people in the stands here of faith. It is time for the church to rise up. It's time for the state of South. Romans chapter 1 is clear. The Bible is clear. This nation was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, and they are under assault by men in black robes who were not elected by you.
That's Senator Lee Bright. Michael, your thoughts on that?
I understand his position, Gina, and I will say that when I first saw the picture of the White House all awash in the gay pride colors, I thought, because I saw it on Facebook, I thought it was one of those classic Facebook hoaxes. I got to say, I'm flabbergasted. Can you imagine if after the Hobby Lobby ruling, there had been the image of a cross portrayed on the White House, the angst, the vitriol that would have come from that.
Oh, right.
And I think that it's reprehensible. And I'll tell you, I've gone so far, and you know me, I'm kind of a rebel on the air. I've gone so far as to saying, in my opinion, at least in terms of the attempts from this administration, that this nation has officially condoned sin with that expression.
Michael Hart, you are so great. You know we're out of time. I will see you at the Alabama straw polls I'm emceeing. Back in a moment with more America Trends. Stay with us.